Okay, welcome back. We're moving on to Pause and Practice 2 now from Chapter 4, and we're dealing with tables and some of the things that we can do. I've moved over to the sort and filter sheet, which is very similar to what we were just working on. It does have a transactions column, so it's a list of data that we're going to be working on. So we're going to talk about sorting and doing some different things that are pretty cool related to how you can find information in a big group of data. So if you remember, before we set it up as a database, as a table, well, we don't have to do that for sorting, although you can within a table, an Excel table, sort it. But we can also just do a basic sort. So I'm going to go to A5, which you'll notice is the first cell that contains data that's underneath our header. And under our data tab, we do have a ability to sort. We have this group called sort and filter, so I'm going to click on sort. You have a decision to make right off the bat. You'll notice that we have headers, right, in row 4. That option right up here is saying they think we do, and we do, so that is correct. But if you just had data, you'd want to make sure you turn that off. That's where it pulls down these options right here and gives us those header names. So we're going to sort, and we do want that. We're going to sort by location, okay, which is going to alphabetize. We are going to go A to Z as our order, and we're going to do a secondary sort. And then we're going to do our second sort on the amount, and we're going to go from largest to smallest, and then we're going to click OK. And you can see that it is sorted by location, and then within that subgroup it went from highest to lowest. Breezy Point started with 18,000 down to 8,500 and so forth. Okay. Here's something else you can do. On A5 we can go into that same group and we can do filters. And let's do a filter. That gives us this on our headers, where we can use these drop downs then, and we're going to go to amount, and we're going to do, if we were doing under location, we could choose just Baudette, for instance, but with numbers we're going to do a number filter, and we're going to go between. And for this one we're going to do is greater than or equal to 5,000, no commas, no dollar signs, and less than 10,000. So it'll find those between, and then click OK. And it does a quick little filter. Notice that the other cells are hidden, but it does pull the rows out that match the criteria between 5 and 10,000. Here's another way to do filters. Down here under the advanced filter, we have some data again, but what we're going to do over under the criteria range is we're going to set some criteria up. So on H6, I'm going to put associate with a wild card, which means it can be associate director, associate manager, it can be just associate, as long as it begins with ASSOC. And then on K6, I'm going to also have a criteria that it has to be greater than 1,500. Now this is an advanced filter type of thing, that is in terms of how we do it, but you do start back at A5. This is where we start, and under data and sort and filter we click our advanced tab, and this one's a little bit tricky. Okay, so filter the list in place. We're going to actually copy it to a new location. We're going to put our answer down in this area. This way all of our data remains visible, and we're just going to take the results and copy it to a new location. The list price says A4 to E31. It recognizes the header row and it recognizes all the data, so that is correct. The criteria range. Okay, the criteria range, we have to select G5 to K6. Make sure you select the header rows so they can match up those header rows along with the criteria. And then the copy to area, this one's tricky too. You need to select the header rows again so they can match it up, and they'll put it right below it. And then you click OK. So it ran the filter, pulled the answers, and it put it right down here. All associates and all greater than 1,500. So the key is making sure the location, you choose the header row, make sure on the criteria you select the header and the criteria. And that's one that sometimes students mess up a little bit, so be careful with that. One more thing on this one. Let's go to subtotals. So this one's a pretty cool one as well. So we're going to go to anyone under location. So you'll notice our location is sorted. All the Baudettes are together, all the breezy points. So if we wanted to put a subtotal after each one of these breaks, you know, get a subtotal of Baudette, a subtotal of breezy point. First thing is to make sure it's sorted that direction. We could not do subtotals right now under category because you can see they are not sorted. So under location, we're going to go anywhere under location so we can do a subtotal based on location. We're going to go to our data tab and we're going to go over here to our outline and choose subtotal. Again, make sure you are in under the header. Subtotal, it selects everything. Okay, and we want to make sure at a change in, not every time there's a name change, no, every time there's a change in location. And we are going to do the sum, and we're also going to do the sum based upon the number of transactions and the amount, and then we're going to click OK. Up here it does ability to do outline for this. So if I do 1, it just shows my grand total. If I do choose option 2, it does my breakdowns of subtotals. Notice that it added up all my transactions under each one as well as the dollar amounts. And then 3 shows all me the data, but you can see row 12 is my subtotal of 86 total transactions for Baudette, a grand total of $49,000. So some really cool ways of being able to look at your data and be able to break it out so you can get better information. As a manager, that would be pretty important to see, so I can see the number of transactions very easily for each one of those. Okay, I'm going to save that, and that is pause and practice number 2.